Welcome back to 4Runner TRD. Today I wanted to give you guys a little bit of helpful information. So if you guys follow us on Instagram, you know that I've been looking for a set of wheels for my Pro. Looking for a set of wheels because the Pro wheels are just so played out. They're literally the next like Rockstar wheel, or just I see them everywhere, and it's no longer just a Pro thing. It's on a Tacoma, Corolla. Ford Explorer, you name it, everyone's got the wheel. So, me being me, I like to be a little bit different and not have something that everyone else has. So I was looking at SCS's, FN wheels, and of course methods. I had methods on my Tacoma and loved the wheels, but just wanted to go with something a little bit different. And before I bought the methods for my Tacoma, I wanted to get SCS's, but they don't stock them really. It seems like it's when a shipment comes in, then poof, they're gone. So, whatever. So I've been on the waiting list for the SCS's for, I don't know, a couple of weeks now because I missed the one, and then finally I just emailed them and I was like, hey, when are you going to get more? And then, so that's where I'm at with that. But anyways, I'm making this video because I want you guys to have the information that I couldn't find. No matter how much I Googled, I couldn't find backspacing information on the Pro wheel. I could find its size and its width, 17 by 7, that's not that hard, but I couldn't find its offset or backspacing. So I decided that when I got the email that the SCSs were in, pick your wheel, pick your color, that I would go out, take my wheel off, do the measurements and do everything myself and let you guys know, hey, if you're planning on running 285 70s, so 33-inch BF Goodrich All-Terrain TA KO2s, which is the tire that I'm running, that you might want to consider what the information that I'm giving you. Now, before we get started, know that I have a Icon lift that works out to be like 3 inches all the way around, and then running the 285 70 BFG All-Terrain TA KO2. Sorry, my brain just went like flat. So also the Total Chaos lower control arms now have a degree of caster built into them. So my caster on the side that I measured, which is the passenger side, is 4.6 degrees, driver's side is 4.5. So all those things are going to play into effect about whether it rubs or it doesn't. So with my current setup, if you cut the mud flap, you can put a zip tie through it and actually zip tie it to the rear part of the front body mount, and it doesn't rub at all. So with that being said, took the wheel off, took the measurement. I got 4.1 inches of backspacing on the factory TRD Pro wheel. So basically you have to do the math. It's 7-inch wide. Now, just to note, 7-inch wide is barrel only. It doesn't account for the lips that may come off of that where the bead seats and stuff like that. It's the barrel only. But we're not going to get into those types of details because that can vary wheel to wheel. Some can have a 1/2 inch on each side, so instead of it being a 7-inch wheel, it's an 8-inch wide wheel. So we're not going to worry about that. We're just going to talk just barrel only because that's what a wheel manufacturer is going to put on their website, is the width of the barrel, not the overall end-to-end. So 4.1 inches, like I said, is the backspacing. And you're measuring that by turning the wheel on its face and putting a measuring tape on the flat spot of the mounting surface, so basically where the wheel makes contact with the brake rotor face, and then you're running it up to whatever your straight edge is that runs across the wheel. So I got 4.1 inches. So maybe my tape measure's off, maybe I'm blind, maybe I'm stupid, I don't know, but that's what I got. So 4.1 inches. So that means 7 is the width of the wheel, minus 4.1 is 2.9. So that means from that mounting surface to the face of the wheel, or to be more exact, to the end of the wheel barrel, so the forward part, the face of the wheel, what you actually see of the barrel, is 2.9 inches. Okay, so the wheels I was looking at were 8.5 inches wide. So they have a 4.3 inch backspacing. So then if you do the math, that's 4.2 inches forward of the mounting surface. So that's a 1.3 inch difference. So that means that the barrel is going to be 1.3 inches more forward than the pro wheel, so giving you a wider stance, which, hey, that's awesome. Problem with that is, though, is when you go to full lock. So in this instance, I turned the wheel all the way to the right and took the wheel off of the passenger side, did the measuring on the passenger side. So that means that the face would be turned all the way in towards the mud flap or towards that body mount. Do your measurements there. So I got about, from the largest lug on the TAKO2s, because they have a scalloped and then a solid lug. So I went with the solid lug, not the scallop lug. With the scallop lug to the body mount was about 0.8 of an inch. It's kind of tight in there, so I did the best that I could, but about 0.8 of an inch. So that means with a difference of 1.3 and 0.8 of an inch, that's a ½ inch that I still need to clear, just to clear the tire. So that means that I'd have to cut the body mount or hammer the body mount or something like that, a ½ inch minimum, just to get it to clear the tire. Ideally, you'd probably have to go 0.8, 0.9, or just call it an inch. I know some of you guys don't care about chopping body mounts and stuff like that. Here's my perspective on stuff like that. And we'll call it quits after that because I gave you the important information, the information I've been looking for I don't know how long. When it comes to modifying your vehicle, if you're going to modify it, if you look at, like, say, a CBI rear bumper for the 5th gen, you have to cut a part of the rear bumper. But it's no big deal. It's just a plastic bumper cover. That's what they call it, is a bumper cover, because the actual bumper is behind that. So if you're just cutting a bumper cover, that's no big deal. That's a couple $100 and you got one shipped to your door. It's not the end of the world if a mistake is made or something like that. When you're doing these body mount chops, though, there's a little bit to be said about that. You're literally cutting something that's welded to the frame. Some of you might not see that as a big deal. I know in reality, if there was ever an issue, if you could find that part separate, I'm sure that someone sells it separate. I think it'd be kind of idiotic if someone damaged that to it. I was like, well, you gotta buy a whole new frame. You could easily cut that, grind the welds down, put a new one in its place, weld it, paint it, call it good. I get that. But doing stuff like this, it just doesn't make sense to me when I'm not gaining anything except for a different wheel. It would be one thing if it was like, hey, you do the body mount chop and put these wheels on, you can clear 35s. I'd be down with that, because it's, in reality, a body mount chop isn't that big of a deal to do the work. But for me, I'm not gaining anything in tire size. On a 4Runner, to run 35s, you're long travels and lots of chopping and trimming and everything else. That's not a route that I'm willing to go. Especially when you look at the guys that are doing big overlanding stuff, that are crossing, continents. They're running 33s on these trucks. Obviously they would benefit from 35s or 37s, like your Jeep guys that are running 37s or 40s on beadlocks. But most of these guys are just running 33s, so it's just not a big deal. And for the type of stuff that I do, 33s are sufficient. So I just want to share this information with you guys because I searched high and low. Now, I could have missed it. I'm not the smartest person, but I definitely couldn't find backspacing information on the Pro Wheel because it really is just that simple to measure and find the difference. Now, obviously, there's a little bit of variables. Each tire is different and stuff like that, so keep that stuff in mind. And you could obviously run those wheels and just run like a 265 or something like that isn't as tall. So then you have that little bit of give. Because for me, I would need to go down an inch in tire, and I could run those wheels all day without having to do anything to the body mount. But to me, that's like going backwards, not moving forward. So I'm going against what I'm trying to do. That doesn't make a lot of sense to me. So anyways, I just want to share that information with you guys. Remember, you would need at least probably ½ inch just to clear using my specs. A ½ inch just to clear, but probably close to 0.8 or an inch to get it to work. So you guys can make your decision, but I wanted to give you guys that information because I couldn't find it anywhere. I did post it on our Instagram, but then when I posted it, I was like, that would make a good video because people could find that information and use it instead of doing what I did, which was search high and low and come up with nothing. So So, hope you guys found this information helpful. If you have any questions, post it up in the comments. If you haven't done so already, please like and subscribe. Lots more videos coming.